Hi, I'm Tim Carter. Welcome to the live stream. Great that you're here. Thanks so much for being here. Um, got the festive Christmas lights on. I know they're a little washed out. Sorry about that. But I think we're going to have a good time today. And remember, if you have any questions, um, make sure you put them in the chat. I was just reading some other chat, and it doesn't it doesn't even make sense to me. I don't know why this guy's asking me this. Anyway, I don't know if you can see it or not. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I want to thank today's sponsor. Can you guess who it is? Stain Solver. So Stain Solver, it's a great oxygen bleach. It's certified organic. I can't say enough good things about it. I've used it for 25 years. Tens of thousands of people have used it and bought it. Thousands, all of them, well, not all of them, 99.999% satisfied. There's always that one or two that doesn't read the instructions. Anyway, just go to stainsolver.com and look at the videos. Type some words into the search engine, some tough stains, like pet urine or, I don't know, oil stain, diesel fuel, kitchen grease, whatever, mold, mildew. Watch what happens. Watch what comes back in the search results. Stain Solver, anything that's water washable, Stain Solver is going to clean it. It's that simple. All right. So I'm just telling you, it's a great product. Kathy and I own the company, and we stand behind the product. And there are so many success stories. I don't even know where to begin. Just really, it's actually. Let me. I thought about this last night. I'm watching television last night with my wife, and there was this commercial on for these new food storage containers, and it was a really well done commercial, very high energy, two people in it, and what this container is, it's almost it's like a hybrid shrink wrap, and it's got this clear silicone, stretchable, thin silicone window. So you put your food in there, like your leftovers, and then close this lid, and it kind of wraps around the food, and it saves space. I mean, it looks like it might be a fantastic product, but me, I always talk back to the television, and it drives my wife crazy. I call these people liars, and I'm saying out loud, "You're a liar," and I go, "It can't be that good." I mean, it just. I actually think it'd be kind of funny to record that. And anyway, so I think sometimes people, when I talk about Stain Solver, they feel the same way. They go, "There's no way it could be that good. There's no way it could take out those stains." Well, it does. So if I see that commercial again, I'm thinking about buying those containers, only because I just want to see if they're really that good. They're dishwasher safe. It was such a well done commercial. And I can always anticipate it. I can always anticipate what the price is going to be, $19.95, and then you got to call now. And I know you all know all this. So anyway, I just like relating stories like that. All right, today we're going to talk about the problems that you could have buying land. And how it's so very important to have a land buying checklist, and I have one for you, and I've got a link for it. Hi, Missing, how you doing? It's great to have you here. I've got this checklist up in the chat window. Anyway, I can relate a couple of stories, and I think that's sometimes the best way to get a point across. When I bought a piece of ground here in New Hampshire back, it's been a long time ago, 15 years ago. A pretty big parcel of land. I had always wanted a big parcel of land with a stream on it, and this has got it. In fact, it's got 3 magnificent waterfalls. So it's a 90-acre piece of ground, and it's exactly what I wanted. The only mistake I made when I bought it, and I was pretty good at buying land, but there were so many other positive things about this land. It offset the one negative, is that it's kind of like a panhandle piece of ground where there's this tongue of land that extends from the 90 acres down about a half a mile. I'm serious, about a half a mile. Hey, Way Into Adventures, how you doing? Glad you're here. Um, that particular driveway faces north. All right, so that can be a little problematic here in New Hampshire because, in the wintertime, the sun is not hitting that driveway directly, and it can get icy and it can stay icy for a long time. I mean, if you've got four-wheel drive and you sand it, you can go up and down with not too much difficulty at all. But it's just something as simple as that. In other words, you have to be thinking of every single possibility when you go to buy a piece of land. All right, so howdy, Eb. Great to have you here. So here are a few more examples. So my daughter bought a piece of land. Gosh, I guess it would have been 3.5 years ago, up in Mount Desert Island, and it was a 1 acre lot, in a little subdivision. It was a quote unquote developed piece of land, but the only thing that was put in by the developer was the road and the electric. All right. It's in a rural part of Mount Desert Island, so you have to have a well, you have to have your own septic tank, but that's very standard up there. That's standard in a lot of places here. I mean, I have that here in New Hampshire. Anyway, the you'd think with a 1 acre lot like this is not going to be a problem getting the house to fit, because pretty big. She didn't build a really big home, but I think it was like 26 feet deep, 27 feet deep by 44 feet long. That's not a huge home. Only had an attached garage. So the house ended up being 44 plus, let's try to think how wide that garage is. 9 plus 9, 18 plus 10, 28. So 20, so 60, like 62, 65 feet long. Anyway, if you don't know anything about zoning, you have to really be paying attention when you buy land or a lot like this, because even in a sleepy town like Bar Harbor, up on Mount Desert Island, and this lot happens to be in the town of Bar Harbor. They've got what they call setback lines, and setback lines. The best way to describe it, if you don't know what it is you've encountered this before. If you're talking to someone, meaning if you talk to someone, and especially a stranger, they maintain a distance away from you. Like they might be 3 feet away from you. And I'm not talking at all about the illness, but if somebody gets too close to you, they violate your personal space. I mean, you just like kind of recoil, like, whoa, man, like you need to step back. All right. Even if it's only 3 or 4 inches, I mean, they can violate your personal space. All right. So think of a setback line that way. In other words, you have this lot. I'll hold up this. Actually, I can just do it. I'll just draw you one real fast. See, if I had the dry erase board, I'd be in good shape here. So I'll do it with this marker here. So here we go. So let's just say the whole piece of paper is the building lot. And if this is the front yard, the zoning codes say that the front of the house, what they say is that your house has to go anywhere you want in this rectangle, or this rectangle, this square, meaning you can't have part of your house cross over any of these 4 lines. So this would be the front yard setback. This is the rear yard, the backyard, and these are the 2 side yards. All right. So something as simple as that. In other words, you're looking at this wonderful piece of ground and you're thinking, oh, I want to buy it. I got to get it, blah, blah, blah. So you put an offer in, and now you've got this piece of ground. And then you come to find out, well, my house isn't even going to fit. And even if you try to get a variance from the town, there's no guarantee you're going to get it. So what a variance is you have to basically get on your hands and knees and bow down to the zoning officials and say, please, please, please. I know you've got this setback line of 20 feet, but can you make it 18 for me, or whatever? And the problem is, in almost all jurisdictions, you have to prove hardship. And if you can't prove hardship, almost always, they're never going to grant the variance. All right. So that's just another little thing. All right. How about compass direction? Remember, thanks very much for that compliment, Eb. Remember, if you've got a question about your house, put it in the chat. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to sit here and jibber jabber all day long about what I want to talk about. I want to answer your questions. So whatever questions you have, put them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them. That's the fuel of this live stream. Here's another one. Yes, I was just going to mention that Southern Adventure, Southern Exposure. So if you are watching this live stream and you live in the northern hemisphere of the Earth ball, that thing right there, and that's so that the thing where the brick is sitting would be the equator. Hey, Will, how you doing? Yeah, there you go. Had to get your neighbor's written permission for a variance. Bingo. Great example. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, if you want to hopefully have really good southern exposure, especially if you plan to do any type of solar installation. And you have to really think it through. You go, oh yeah, the lot's got great southern exposure. Well, wait a minute. Do you want those big, huge electric panels on the front of your home? Or do you want them on the back? Or depending on what type of house you're building, the left or the right side. Maybe your roof's going to be oriented, north-south. So the big expanses are east-west. So, you have to think all this through. It's crazy. All right. So there's a huge laundry list of things, and I've got them all. If you look in the chat, I've got a link for you at the top. I have a checklist that I created. It's really, really, really a great product. But anyway, other little things. Here's a great example. So I lived in the big city in Cincinnati for 55 years. And at least I did. I just assumed everybody had trash pickup. When I was a little kid, the city of Cincinnati had garbage men. In fact, back in those days, the garbage man actually came around back, got your garbage cans, and took them out to the street. Well, they stopped doing that for a host of reasons. You had to take them out to the curb. But what would happen is you put your trash out the night before, and magically the truck comes and it's gone. You don't have to mess with anything. And you just roll your garbage can back to the garage. All right. So I just assumed that's the way it works everywhere. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. So here in New Hampshire, where I live in the center of the state, you can pay a company extra money to do that for you. I don't know what they charge, but I'm guessing it's got to be $25, $30 a week. That adds up. Think about that. $30 a week. That's $1,500 a year for trash removal. All right. So here in New Hampshire, I have to put my trash in my truck. And for the people who don't have trucks, you got to put it in the back of your car. And if it's in the summertime and your garbage bags are leaking, you got that smelly garbage. You might have maggots. It's horrible. All right. So just something as simple as that. You come from the city and you would not even think of trash pickup. You would just assume that it just magically disappears. No, that's not the case. All right. Here, and Will can talk to this. That's exactly right, John. With a rural lot, you must consider the septic area and well separation. Absolutely. So that's a great point. And I talk about that in my checklist. The and I'm going to do a little sidebar on that too. One of the biggest mistakes I feel that I see happen up here in New Hampshire a lot around where I am, for some odd reason, and I can't even fathom it. The lot owner or the builder will put the well in before they build the house. In my opinion, that's a huge mistake. Just for a host of reasons. All right, here's one of them. It's like my own home, for example. Some idiot put the well in, and then they've come to find out that where the well is would have been the perfect spot to have an expanded laundry room. So my well is underneath my front porch. So I have this U-shape, my garage. It's the craziest thing. It's the absolute craziest thing. So some idiot drilled and put the well in, and then they built the house around the well. It's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen it happen in many a situation. All right. So, and then common sense would tell you you want to have your well uphill, to a large degree. I mean, depending on how deep, most wells go pretty deep, and for the most part, it won't make a difference. But you would want to have your well, if given the opportunity, uphill from your septic. I mean, and not only that, some of the towns, and they have regulations about that, so you have to look into all that. All right, so that's just another thing, in the in the list. I mean, here's a couple more, and then we'll move on. Remember, if you have a question about your own home, please type it in the chat section. That's what works. You absolutely, without a doubt, if you're buying raw land, you want to get it surveyed. Hopefully, if it's a a vacant developed lot, typically, I mean, the developers have to they have to subdivide it, and they have a surveyor come out. So hopefully all those pins are fresh, and you can see all the corner pins. You can see everything. You have to, here's a really simple thing up here in New Hampshire, and actually most of the Northeast. When I came up here, I had never heard of the term mud season. All right, so you would go, yeah, that's a good point, Will. Cable internet access, yes. You always have to make sure that you have cable or fiber optic, on the roadway. And even if you do, if you have a bigger piece of land, you have to understand that typically the utility companies will only extend the utility in so far for free. If you have to go a long distance, they're going to charge you, and it could be outrageous. So you have to, if you're buying a bigger piece of ground and you're thinking about, building into the ground 1,000 feet or so, some distance, you better check. You better find out about what it costs to get electric and cable TV and all that back into the property. All right, one last thing, then we're going to go to the comments. No problem, missing. Well, I know you can't stay, but you know how beautiful this is. This video, this live stream gets curated as a regular video, so you can come back and watch whenever you want. That's the thing. All right. So all I want to talk about very quickly is mud season. All right. So mud season. I had never even heard of the term before. Like, what the heck is mud season? So here in New Hampshire and in Maine and in Vermont, what happens? The ground freezes, and the frost can go 4 or 5 feet deep. And in the spring, when it starts to thaw out, it thaws from the top down. So what happens is this frozen gravel road, which is a combination of mostly gravel, but sand and a little bit of probably organic material that gets in there somehow. These roads can become impassable depending on the conditions. And the first spring I was up here, it happened. The road that I lived on, luckily, it was a paved road, and my realtor never talked to me about this, and I was a little upset about that. But I lucked out. I mean, I had paved roads all the way to my house. But I went for a walk one day. It was a nice spring day. I mean, it was probably like the one we had here today in New Hampshire. Today was a beautiful late fall day. I mean, official winter is just a few days away. It got to, I think it was 45 degrees today. Mostly, I mean, I don't think there was any clouds in the sky. It was amazing. It was a great day. I mean, I was able to be outside in just a flannel shirt and this vest and never be uncomfortable. And in the sun, you'd be very warm. So I walked to the end of my street. This is 12, 13 years ago. I look up the street, and here's this sign that said, road impassable, that the town had put out, big sign. And I walk up to it, and I'm telling you, the ruts in the mud were a foot deep. All right. My Ford F-250 Super Duty 4x4 has only got 8 inches clearance. All right. So you go into mud like that, and your axle starts to drag, because it's bulldozing 4 inches of mud. There's probably a pretty good chance you're going to get stuck. Well, guess what? No one's coming to get you out. No tow truck operator is going to risk his truck going in there. They're not doing it. The only way you'd get out is you'd have to find some farmer who will bring his tractor down, who will tug you out. All right, so mud season. So in other words, you have to think long and hard about buying a piece of land on a class 5 road. That's what we call them up here in New Hampshire. A class 5 road is one that is not paved. In any other time of the year in mud season, they're beautiful roads. They grade them. Very rarely are there potholes. They're in beautiful shape. They're a little dusty in the summertime. I would not want to live on a class 5 road in the summertime because of the dust. Because every time a car goes down the road, just big dust storm. So even something like that. So think about that. You might never, being a city person and not growing up in the country, you might never think of how dust could be a problem. All right. So it's something as simple as that. All right. So remember, up in the chat way at the top, I've got a link to a wonderful checklist that I've got. If you're interested, look at that, see what you think. All right, let's look at the chat. Let's see if there's some questions I need to answer. Remember, if you got questions, put them in the chat. So Cam says, I bought land, 16 acres in a subdivision on Setback, and today I still have not been able to close on because the bank is so slow. Oh, that's a bummer. That's crazy. That's a long time. That's not 3 months. It got sent back to the underwriter just today for the 3rd time, hopefully the last time. The seller gave 3 extensions, but he said this week is the last chance. Oh, what a shame. Warning to buyers, banks are so slow right now, especially if you get the wrong bank. Yeah, that's true. Is there any maintenance needed to live off of a well? So Cam, that's a great question. The trouble with wells can be, I don't want to say that they'll be polluted, but some wells, you may have an organic odor. Like my well had that. All right. You would draw the water and it would just have this very slight tinge of sulfur smell. It's not poisonous. It's just objectionable. Some wells can have a high arsenic content. So the bottom line is you're going to have to drill a well and you're stuck with that water. All right. In almost all cases, there are conditioning systems. Like I've got Kinetco is the conditioning system I have. And all they have is this little tank that I have to fill every now and then, like once a year, with a gallon of chlorine bleach. And this machine puts just a little bit of chlorine bleach into the water that completely knocks out that sulfur smell. My water is so delicious, you just can't believe it. It's amazing. Some wells, Cam, will have, depending on where you're at, the water might be really, really hard. It could be really, really soft, naturally soft. But I think you just need to understand that the well water is what you get. Here's one of the really cool things here in New Hampshire. So if you don't want to, if your well water is not the greatest, like where I live, very nearby, there are quite a few natural springs, and the spring water is truly amazing. I mean, it's not polluted. People come from miles around with 5-gallon containers. They might walk away from the spring with 30, 40 gallons of water. And some of these springs are really running. I mean, and they just use that water for drinking water at home, and they use it maybe to cook with. So, so understand that. Just understand that you might be able to get spring water around. So, but the well water, it's going to be fine to shower in and do your laundry, all those other things. Hi, Showbiz. How you doing? You may want to water stuff. Yeah, exactly. Way into is right, Cam. I have a well pump. All right. So I have a pump that pumps the water and pressurizes the water. But in the 13 years I've been here, it's never been serviced. It could be the original pump, could be 20, 21 years old. I don't know. So, all right. Cam says, what's a water softener? Simple. Just go to my website, Cam, askthebuilder.com, type water softener into the search engine and read away. That's the best thing to do. What a water softener does, it does a mineral exchange. And for example, I have a water softener too. A lot of people use just regular salt, but I sodium chloride, I use potassium chloride, which is much more expensive. But my wife is a professional orchid grower and she cannot tolerate having salt, sodium in the water. So that's okay. I mean, it's a small price to pay. So she's happy. And her plants are thriving. All right. So you may or may not need a water softener. You won't know that until you test the hardness of the water. All right. The well driller Cam, he tests for everything. When the well driller drills and the water's flowing clear, he should have some sample kits there, to capture some of the water to send back to the lab. You can go online and get water test kits. There are all kinds of labs all over the place that do this. They'll mail you the empty bottles. It's really simple to do. So just, you just have to follow the directions and make sure you don't contaminate the sample before it goes back to the lab. All right. So my family will be drinking a gallon of Clorox over the course of. Yes, that's true. They will. No, they won't be drinking a gallon because probably 95% of the water that you use in your home doesn't go into this place right here. You shower with it, you wash dishes with it, you you do laundry with it. All right, so no, they're not drinking a gallon of Clorox. And I got news for you. I got big news for you. If you live in a city and you've got city water, I talked about this last week. What do you think was happening upstream from you before the water got to your water plant? The water you drink, if you're on city water, I don't care where you are in the United States or Europe or anywhere. I don't care where you're at. If you're on city water and your water is drawn from a river, which most cities are on rivers for a reason, because you need water to live, you are drinking the town above you, their sewage. That's a fact. In other words, they pull water out of the river, they use it, they put it in their toilets, they flush their toilets. The toilet water goes to their sewage treatment plant. The sewage treatment plant treats it a little bit, pretty much, but then they put that water into the river. And you would never, ever want to drink the water coming out of a sewer plant. You would be so sick you couldn't believe it. It still needs to get kind of treated in the river. All right, that's a fact. You can look it up. So I'm telling you, your water treatment plant is they probably buy Clorox by the train car load that they put into your city water. All right. All right. Let me get caught up here. This is great comments coming in. No, it's not expensive at all to get the water tested. Go online and do that. All right, no problem. You've got great questions. Yes, Clorox is delicious compared to sewage. Yes, Will, exactly. That I go back to Cincinnati occasionally because that's where I'm from. I still have contacts back there. I cannot drink the water. I drank it for 55 years and thought it was great. Now I go there, as soon as I smell it, it's like, I am not drinking this water. I bring back 5 or 10 gallons of water with me in my truck from my house to drink while I'm in Cincinnati. People think I'm nuts, and I go, I would never drink that water. It's got so much chlorine in it. Yeah. Anyway, so those are all great points. So if you have any other questions about lots, now's the time to put them in, or any other question about your home. Happy to answer it. I'll share something with you really quickly. If you don't get my newsletter, I sent it could have been the most interesting newsletter. Well, I've sent a few of them over the years. Sent a pretty interesting newsletter out yesterday, and all I can tell you is, if you are not on my newsletter list right now, you've got a few days. You got a week or 2 weeks. I'm telling you, you need to go to askthebuilder.com. Right on the homepage, you just enter in your name and your email address, click submit, then go to your email, look for the confirmation email, open it up, click the link in the offer, then you're on the list. All right. I am telling you, you must get my January 2nd edition of my newsletter, is all I can tell you. If you don't get the January 2nd edition. And when I start to talk about it on the live stream later, you're going to kick yourself. All right. So get on the newsletter and be prepared for the January 2nd edition. All right. Showbiz says, yeah. We had pollution. There was a big, I'm sure it's still online, maybe in the archives of the Cincinnati Enquirer. But when I lived in Cincinnati all those years ago, probably in the 1980s, I would think there are these big chemical factories up in West Virginia, and one of these companies made a mistake. Who knows what happened? Maybe it was a barge that crashed. I can't remember, but many thousands of gallons of benzene, which is a very toxic organic chemical, got put in the Ohio River, and so there was a huge problem. All right, so luckily Cincinnati. They knew where the growth was happening, but the Cincinnati Waterworks gets its water from two locations now, and they've been getting it from two locations for about, I don't know, 30 years, maybe a little longer. But they have a secondary water plant in the northern part of Hamilton County that has a bunch of really big, deep wells that are drilled in the Little Miami or the Great Miami River Valley, which used to be the Ohio River, by the way. Boy, that's a whole nother live stream I could talk about, but I'll have to have some things prepared for you. If the second last continental glacier that came to Cincinnati in Ohio back about 600,000 years ago completely changed the course of the Ohio River. It's absolutely unbelievable what it did. All right, so that's a whole nother live stream. I love talking about that stuff, by the way. I love talking about the continental glaciation. All right. Showbiz says you get cancer of bladder from drinking the water right. No doubt about it. You can get that from a lot of places. A lot of places. Will says would like to insulate the garage, but may need to install a floor drain for the snow melting off my vehicles. That's I put it. I actually have a column on the website. We did that at my daughter's home. I talked. It's crazy in the code. This is why I get really frustrated with the building code sometimes. People think, oh, the code is amazing. The building code is awesome. No, the building code is not awesome all the time. All right. So for quite a few years, it's been in the code that they want the garage floors to slope so that the concrete is higher at the back of the garage than at the garage doors. So if there's any water that gets in the garage or something spills, that was why they put it in the code. They were so worried that a gallon of gasoline might spill. And in the old days, we used to put floor drains in the garages. Anyway, so the code got changed. And so if you live up where I live, or even in any place that gets cold, you get so frustrated because the water drips off your car. You come in, the snow melts. You have all this water running down to the garage door. If it gets really cold that night, the water will freeze. You go to open up the garage door, it rips the seal off it's horrible. It's like, what were you guys thinking? Are you idiots? So I talked to the building inspector up in Bar Harbor. It's a woman, by the way, very smart woman. She's amazing. Her name's Angie Chamberlain. Really, really great building inspector. And the reason she's a great building inspector, there's a couple of reasons. There's a lot of reasons why. But one of the biggest reasons she's a good building inspector is because she gets it, and she understands where the code is deficient in areas, and she has the power to bypass it because she's the buck stops with her. So there can be parts of the building code that she does not agree with. So you do it Angie's way. All right. And Angie's way is usually much, much better than the code. And it's not necessarily more expensive. So I asked Angie, I said, hey, look, this whole thing about the garage is stupid. She said, I agree. Because she's lived in Bar Harbor her whole life. And so I said, I want to go back to the old way in my daughter's house. I want to put floor drains in. I want to, make where the cars park these big shallow funnels. So all the water that drips off the car, whether it's rainwater or snow melt, does not go to the door. It rolls down to the floor drain. She said, do it. Fine with me. I don't care. So you can actually see photographs on my website of how I put that whole system in. It's really pretty cool. and it's got a big trap. It's got a trap in it, so you don't have any animals from outside. And all this water does, it just drains outside eventually. So you don't have chipmunks or snakes or anything else coming up into the garage. There's easy ways to prevent that. Got a big running trap that I designed in the system. So anyway, that's just a little thing. So Will, yes, if you're redoing your garage, absolutely put a floor drain in. That's the long answer. Couldn't agree more. As far as insulating, I'm still a big fan of fiberglass. I really like fiberglass. I like the fact that if fiberglass gets wet, when it dries out, it still has its same insulating value. You can't say that about cellulose. Fiberglass is fireproof. I like that. I mean, I like fiberglass. So, all right, here we go. Cam says, by the way, remember, hit the like button if you like what you hear and see. Anyway, Cam says, I want to save money building my house by being my own general contractor. Oh, good. I've got a column or two on my website you need to read. But my bank doesn't allow financing for owner-built properties. Is it worth it to pay a higher rate to be my own GC? Boy, is that a great question. I could spend an entire live stream on that. Here's the answer. If you've never done it before and you make one mistake, that mistake may cost you some multiple, of the difference in price. In other words, you have to, but I'm not going to say you can't do it. You need to read the columns on my website, Cam, about this. I have columns on the website. You'll find them. And if you can't find them, just go to the Ask Tim page, hit me up, say, hey, I was the guy on the live stream. Can you show me where the columns are? Here's the good news, is that I'm one of the few guys in the United States that offers phone coaching. The last guy I coached a guy in Chicago through a pretty big renovation project. He purchased about $1,000 worth of my consult time, and he just purchased a big chunk of it. And then he would send me emails, and every now and then we would do a telephone call if it required it, or a video call. And I would just keep a log of how much time, to offset the retainer that he sent. So, I offer that service. I'm not saying you have to buy it or you should. I'm just saying, I've built countless new homes, so I know a little bit about it. But I'm just saying, if you've not done it yourself, there's so much more to it than you could ever imagine. One of your biggest problems, I'll just tell you this right up front, is you really have to look hard at the length of time that your bank's giving on your construction loan, because the subcontractors, they will treat you like dirt. And the reason why is you're a one-off. In other words, you're not going to give them any repeat work. And so here's what happens. Here's a great scenario. Let's just say the job's coming along and your plumber's supposed to start today. Today's a Monday. And so the plumber says, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. And you've got all these other things depending on it. So yesterday, a builder who uses the plumber all the time calls him up. Hey, Steve. Oh, dude, I'm glad you're there. We got a problem on this one job of mine. Blah, 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 blah. Is there any way you can come tomorrow, man? I am desperate. Please, can you? Yeah. And so the plumber goes, absolutely, man, I'll be there. So the plumber doesn't care about you. He cares about the builder because he's going to get all kinds of future work from the builder. All right. So you're going to have that problem big time. You're going to have that problem with the subs. They're just going to treat you. They're going to be really bad to you. All right. So just keep that in mind. All right. So here we go. Wayback says, can the building inspector influence adjustment of the building code? Why just keep bypassing the rule? Oh, well, that's a great question. So the code is the way the code is developed is there's a big governing body, and some certain building inspectors like to get involved in that way up high, way up here high. It's a very there's committees. It's a lot like any other government. It's slow moving. It's politics. So it's it's the answer is the local building inspectors. If it was me, I don't care what the guys say about I don't care what the code says. This is the way we're doing it. And he can remember the inspector can either make it more stringent or he can make it less stringent, so it can go both ways. But the answer is one single building inspector is not going to be able to make a phone call and say, hey, I need you guys to change the code on the garage floors. They go, yeah, goodbye, click. They're not going to do that. All right. These are great questions. So, these questions are so good. Showbiz says, I have animatronics in my home. Fiberglass covers its body for it not to get messed up, but the suit might be flammable. Oh, interesting. I don't know about that. Cam likes the retainer idea. Yeah, it's a great idea. I'm surprised I don't do more of it. Well, here's a great example on a smaller scale. So back in the spring, I'm a licensed master plumber. So I do a lot of plumbing isometric drawings. Over the weekend, I had to do a rush job for this architect in Phoenix, Arizona. She's a customer of mine. So I was happy to do it for her Saturday morning. But back in the spring, this young woman, I would so love to meet her. Her name is Zoe. So Zoe is building her own home in New Mexico. By now she's probably moved in. I think I'm going to email her and ask her what's going on. I've got her email address. So Zoe hired me to draw her plumbing isometrics, and then she was hell-bent on putting the plumbing in herself. Had never done it before. So she said, can you coach me? I said, absolutely. I said, this is not a tough job, easy to do. So I had 2 phone calls with her. I made a couple other quick drawings for her. And long story short, the plumbing inspector comes out, inspects the job, and says to Zoe, he says, are you sure you've never done plumbing before? She goes, no, this is the first time. And she goes, I got some help, though, from a guy in New Hampshire over the phone. And the inspector says, this is the best DIY installation I've ever seen in my 30 years in the business. And he said, it's better than half of the plumbers that do it professionally. So I took that as a compliment, but Zoe did all the work. All she did was listen to me. And so that was a cool consult. I'm going to email her. I want to find out if she's moved in yet. I would love to see this house. So she showed me a picture. She had to take some photos of the pipes as she was putting them in the slab. And I got to see the terrain. And I love the Southwest. I wouldn't want to live there, but I love visiting. She was building in a beautiful area. All right. Let's move on here. Bank is giving 3 years to convert land. Okay, you got plenty of time to build then. Cam, you got plenty of time with 3 years. Way too adventurous. Showbiz. Indiana boats burn pretty well, so I think so. Cecilia Jones, hi. Good to see you here. I'm not quite sure what that email that URL is. I'll check into that. Will, are you still here? Will, are you still on the? Are you still here with us? Let me know. And Will, I need you at the end of the stream to email me. Okay. All right. You know how to do that. It's pretty simple. Tim, and I'm the Ask the Builder guy. You know what to do, right? All right. So email me, please. Yeah, Zoe. She hit it out of the ballpark, man. All right. So all right. So, well, I mean, my costume on it is leather. So, yeah, exactly. All right. All right. Got it. All right. So, I'm caught up on the chat. Any other questions about any other aspect of your home? Happy to talk to you about it. It doesn't matter what it is. But yeah, Zoe, young woman. I never got to see her. I don't need to see her, but just from her voice, I just got the feeling like she was in her late 20s. I could be way off, but uh, I don't want to say what it is about here. Just, just contact me, will you? Please. That's all just reach out to me. I'm not going to spam you or stalk you, man. So anyway, here we go. Showbiz says, can the pipes on your house burn? If you have PVC drain pipes, absolutely. And when they burn, they put out a really toxic gas, so toxic that if you took one big breath of it in, you'd probably be dead in about 15 seconds. And then, like the water lines in my house are PEX, they would burn. Their plastic, absolutely. The only water lines that aren't going to burn are copper. I mean, a house fire might be so hot that it would melt the copper, and then cast iron. Cast iron drain lines. Not many people have cast iron. I mean, I'll have it in my house. I put it in my daughter's house, but most people can't afford it. All right. All right. Oh, hey, Steve. Good to see you. That's okay to be late, man. I'm doing great today. We're having a good time. We were talking about land buying checklist, and the questions and the comments have just been excellent. I would have never thought we would have had so many good questions about that topic. So I learned something new every time. Hope everything's good in the UK. By the way, Steve, I have been saving for you this URL. I don't know if you saw this video, but you brought up a question last week, and I don't know that you jinxed everybody in the United States, but you asked about tornadoes. Well, here in the United States, I don't know if it made the news over in the UK. On Friday night, I think, there was a horrible, record tornado, and it killed almost 100 people, which is very rare. And it happened at night, which is very bad. And it happened in December, which you have no idea how rare that is. That's so rare. But this was wait till you see the drone footage, Steve, in that video. And I'm sure if you go to YouTube and just type in Kentucky tornado, you're going to see 100 videos. I mean, the damage, I've witnessed it. I've walked through places just like this. There was a really bad tornado in Cincinnati about 20 years ago, and I was able to walk through it. You simply cannot believe what these things can do. They'll pick up, like my truck. Think of it. My Ford F-250 pickup weighs 6,500 pounds. A big tornado will pick up my truck and toss it through the air, like you might toss a tennis ball. All right. They're horrible. I mean, they are deadly. They are wicked bad. All right. So I got to turn this music off. So Steve, watch that video. It was horrible. I mean, we had to send a lot of people back to heaven that night. All right. Yes. Will, thank you for saying that. If you like what you hear here, please click the thumbs up. It really helps us in the ratings. I'm trying to show Google that you like what you're hearing. So please, thank you, Will. Will, I'm just going to do this right now. If you don't like what I'm going to do, you just let me know. All right. So you just let me know. All right. So anyway, let's see. Cam says, I'll check out your site and email you if anything. That's correct. Yeah, Cam, good idea. Just always use the Ask Tim page and reference the live stream that you were on a live stream. Really important. Hi, LV. How you doing? Learning a great deal. I'm going to teach you a little trick here, by the way. This is like a secret tip. I probably shouldn't say this, but so if you're a writer or if you're someone like me talking, Um, I try to avoid the word learn. In other words, I'll make a mistake now and then, and I'll say something like, I may say, um, today you're going to learn some really great things. Well, believe it or not, subliminally in your head, as soon as you hear the word learn, you go, I don't want to learn anything, because learning is hard. Because most people equate learning with really bad experiences in school. But if I were to say, today you are going to discover some really great things on the live stream, they're going to save you a lot of time and money. Guess what? Discovering things is fun. So, able to hang around some really smart people who know the right words to say. It's just that sometimes I might get ahead of myself, and I may not, because you have to realize with these live streams, I'm not looking at some teleprompter. So you have to really be on your toes to say the right things. And you have to watch out for all the crutch words. I was trained how to do radio. And do you know what a crutch word is? So I just said one. One of my crutch words is so, S-O. Another one is okay. The common ones that you might have are and So there, I said it again. Look at that. Oh, see how bad it is? It's really bad. And if you watch professional announcers on television, newscasters, really pros like sports announcers, they rarely have a crutch word. They rarely have one. Your brain, if you don't know what to say, if you're talking live like this and you don't know what to say, your brain goes, you need to say something, dude. Just say or and you'll find that's what's happening. In other words, your brain is getting ahead of your mouth is getting ahead of your brain. So anyway, crutch words. It's we could talk about so many things when you think about it. Okay. Sharing is a good word. It is a good word. It's a great word. Sharing. Yeah, you saw that. Steve says he saw the video, and did it make the national news over there in the UK? I'm wondering. I would think something like that might have made the news. All right, hi Bexar. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. It's really great. We got a pretty good audience here for. We're now less than 2 weeks away from Christmas. It's a crazy busy time for people here, in the United States. So. There it is again. How many times a live stream do I say so? Probably 50 or 100 times. It's crazy. I'm gonna start watching that. I'm gonna try to really pay attention to that. Oh, it did make the news. That's very interesting. Very interesting. I would have expected it to. It was bad. And I've seen them before. These tornadoes are. I'm telling you right now. And they're rated. F1 through F5. Just from the damage I kind of was seeing, I'm not an expert. I'm guessing it was an F4 or an F5. And especially when you could see where it just scraped. I mean, it just scraped house. All you see is a slab, nothing else left. They also can rate them by the amount of damage to these bigger trees. When you see it completely crack off a tree, or I'm sure there's some really great articles online that show you how to rate the strength and the wind speed and these things. And that's what they're really measuring, is the wind speed. All you want is a live stream. Well, you're getting them, but you're not going to get one on Christmas Day. No live stream on Christmas Day. In fact, this week, remember, only 2 more days of live stream, only tomorrow and Wednesday. No live stream on Thursday or Friday. And next week, same thing, just live stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I'm skipping the entire week between Christmas and New Year's. So we've only got 5 more live streams between now and January 3rd. There we go. Will, it worked. I see your name is a different color. You have a wrench by it. The police came to your door. Boy, I don't know about that. The problem here's just a real quick point about those tornadoes. So you see those tornadoes, you see all the houses in a city or a town. Like there early in that video that I shared, they show that this one town in Western Kentucky, it must have been an older town that had buildings, built in the 1800s, a lot of solid masonry buildings. The walls completely gone. And I talked about that. And that's what happened at the Amazon. There was a story. Actually, I've got it here. Let me, oh, no. Do not do that. Oh my gosh. I almost made a huge mistake and killed the stream. Oh my gosh. All right. Look at this link. And about halfway down this story, maybe 2/3 of the way down in that story, there's a quote or there's a point in the story where this monster Amazon distribution center was really damaged heavily, and 6 people there died. So what I said last week was the wind will lift the roof off, and the roof is what keeps the walls of these big buildings from not coming in. But once the roof's gone, the party's over, man. The wind just pushes over those 20 or 30 foot high concrete walls. And in that story, concrete block walls, that's exactly what happened at this Amazon plant. And some people may have been crushed by those walls. So there it is. See, there's that crutch word. So, and I was saying that because I did not know what I was going to say next. This tells you if you're in a big building like that in a tornado, get away from those outside walls. Get away from them. Get away. And the people did the right thing. They were sent to a bathroom. Some of the people that died were sent to a bathroom inside the building to shelter. And the bathroom, I doubt, was built right. And they got killed in this bathroom. It just was horrible. It was horrible. And remember, we talked about that in a live stream last week about these bunkers. It's if you live in one of these tornado places, you're going to want a bunker. But as I said last week, they have to be built right, and you have to figure out how am I going to get out of this thing? If a car gets lodged against the door, or if the door gets bent and the door won't, you got to really think it through how you're going to get out of that thing. I'll tell you that right now. Maybe it's something where you have tools inside the bunker that allow you to break through the wall. I don't know, something like that. I know I would do that for sure. If you have another problem with your house, make sure you type it in. Make sure you type it in the chat session. Yes, Colin. I think I know who that guy is. That's the young man, I think, who's got that very popular YouTube channel about firearms. Well, not sure much. They had some warning. They had some warning time. That's all going to come out in the laundry. That's what happens in these disasters. Understand that first of all, in my opinion, and I'm a member of the working media, the level of the people, most of the people in the media is not what it used to be. This means, I almost said it, I almost goofed up right there. Boy, I'm saying it a lot. This means that when you get information early on about a disaster, there's always going to be hopefully more later that will clarify things. And something like that about the warning, and understand, they may not have been able, even the weather guys might not have been able to give them a warning. Who's to think? Typically we know the conditions for tornadoes in the spring. The meteorologists have gotten really good about this, but it's such a rare thing in December. I just didn't think that there was enough warm air to make it happen, but there was. So they might not have even put out any tornado. There's two things. There's tornado watch, which means, hey, the conditions are kind of favorable, and then you get a tornado warning when one's been spotted. So there may not have even been a watch listed because they're thinking, we're not going to have a tornado tonight. Well, guess what? They did. All right. Yes. I think I know who you're talking about. That Colin guy. You have seen the new thanks tab. You can put it in. It's like I have not seen that. Can you send me more information about that, Steve? That would be great. I have not seen that. I would like to know more about that. That'd be great to know. But I'll look into that. I'll take a note right now. Thanks tab in video. Tip. Okay. Another crutch word. See? Okay. So, they're horrible. They're horrible. Okay. Yeah. I'll look into that. I just don't know. I don't know how to do it on this thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter right now. I've got this really big announcement. Like I said earlier in the stream, if you're not on my newsletter list, you better get on it. That's all I can tell you. You're not going to believe what I'm going to do in the next 2 weeks. You're not going to believe it. Actually, 3 weeks. It's going to be January 2nd. I've never done it before, ever. Not in the 25 years, 28 years I've done Ask the Builder. So there's the crutch word again. I'm going to beat myself up over that big time. Here we've been on for a little over an hour. It's crazy. A lot of great questions. So Steve says, is my YouTube monetized? Yes. There's all types of ads that appear on my videos, and I turn all this on. Same here for these live streams. When I set up a live stream, those ads are turned on. But I know there are some other tools that YouTube has given creators. One of the things I want to avoid, one of the tools that they have now is you can almost set up a membership option, where people buy a membership like it's a special club. The trouble for that, from my perspective, is that, I know this sounds crazy, but from a pure accounting standpoint, a membership to somebody like me or to a magazine publisher, you would think it's an asset. You would think that when the people are paying you the money ahead of time, that's an asset. No, it's a liability to the publisher, because you have taken money up front and now you are obligated to do something in return for the money. So in my opinion, you have to be really careful about these membership deals that you offer. Really careful. I can look into it, but I've known people who have run membership sites, and it can almost be like having a collar, being on a collar and having a leash tied to you. You just have to keep producing this stuff, or people ask for refunds, and rightfully so. I get it. Okay, it's only, I've seen on some video. I'm going to research it. Believe me. It seems that's exactly right. Way into. In other words, when you buy a membership or an upgrade, I would grant you access to like a secret club, or I can do, for example, when I set up these live streams, I have the ability to make the stream unlisted or private, just like any video that I upload. Thus, I could have a private club that says, okay, next Friday, whatever. Just pick a day. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do a live stream. We're going to have a meeting. I've got some really secret information to share with you. I will email you the link, to the live stream, because, it's unlisted. So there it is. See, there's that doggone crutch word. Oh, I've become sensitive to it now. That's a bad thing. Okay, let's get caught. See, okay, see these crutch words? You never thought about crutch words until I brought them up, right? Will says, I've got the old basement windows with the change out storms or screens. Think it would be worth changing the plastic. I don't think so, Will. I don't know about doing that. I don't like to spend money on my home that's unnecessary. I'm frugal, and if the old windows are doing a good job, and if you maintain them and you keep them painted and they're not leaking, then this is a rhetorical question. Why would you want to change it out? But there are some people who love new things, and they just want to do it for the benefit of it being new. So me, I'm going to say no. I wouldn't, if they're functioning well, I would not change them out. I think that I have answered all of the questions. And now, Steve, okay. Could you, Steve, you know how to get in touch with me, unless you're queasy about emailing me. I was going to say, could you email me this link to this tutorial, or just share the URL right here? If you've got the URL to the tutorial, please put it in the live stream here. I'd appreciate it. That's easier. Put it up on another tab, paste that tutorial in. I want to see it. I want to, what do I want to say? There was, if there was something else, I have not gotten any other tools. Oh, there is something I did yesterday that it relates back to a live stream we did probably 10 days ago. If you remember, I did this quick tutorial. I showed you this paint. I don't have it up here in the man cave anymore. It was Ecos Paint, ECOSPAINT. I think it's ecospaint.net. Anyway, you can go back to my live stream and find it, because it's the thumbnail photo. I finally used it yesterday, and it's really funny. I mean, it acted like a regular paint. It was really, it went on really well. I was painting a little shed model, and I made a mistake. I actually have some photos somewhere else. I've got some old photos, but I wish I would have taken better before photos. But it went on really well, covered really well. But I was about 20 minutes into the job, and all of a sudden I thought, well, that's crazy. This paint doesn't smell. And that's one of the attributes. I mean, that's what they tell you, that it's non-odor. And I have to tell you, there's no odor with this paint. Or if there is, my nose is in such bad shape, I can't smell it. So it was a really delightful paint to work with. All right. So yes. All right. I'm hanging on here until you get that URL to put in here, because if I end the stream, you can't put anything in the chat window anymore. So chop, let's go. Oh my gosh. Remember too, if you have a particular topic that you want me to cover, you need to let me know. I don't have ESP, so you need to put it in the chat, or you need to go to the Ask Tim page on the website. You need to tell me, hey, Tim, do this live stream, do this topic. I'm happy to do it. You just need to tell me what you want. It's not hard. None of this is hard. Not a bit of it is. I did a kind of a cool thing today. I still write my syndicated newspaper column. I'm killing time waiting for Steve to put that link in. My column still runs in 60 papers. I have to file a new column every Monday. And today, I don't know why I didn't do this 2 weeks ago. I just not thinking. Today, perfect. There you go. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll get that link. Today, I changed the tagline and a tagline is simply a little announcement that the local papers print at the bottom of the column, but it just lets people know about this live stream. So we might, and it takes a while, like my column, it could take 3 weeks for this to take effect. But the point I'm trying to make is we might start to get quite a few more people watching that read my column in their papers, but had no idea that I even had a YouTube channel, much less I was live streaming. So I know that the editors of the local papers are going to like this a lot. So I'm hoping that they'll publish that and we'll get more viewers. Okay, got it. Yes, I see the, yeah, I don't know why sometimes the YouTube could be down. And I'm trying to see if that link works, Steve, before I close down the stream here. Looks like it's going to work just fine. Looks like it's going to work great. I want to make sure. So if XG, I don't even know. I wonder if the internet is slow. It just seems so slow. All right. Something about building sheds. Oh, that's a great idea, way to adventure. So let me tell you something right now. I said this earlier. If you are not on my newsletter list, you need to get on it. You need to get on it before January 2nd. Because on January 2nd, something's going to happen that's directly related to that shed thing. So, in fact, I'm going to show you something here. No, that's not what I want to do right here. So you are going to be blown away at this. So here we go. How would you like to have a set of plans? I mean, these are incredible plans. These are how many pages? 17 pages of these plans. I don't think there are any shed plans in the world that are as detailed as this. And what happened is I built this is my own shed. That link takes you to my own shed. You can see it. And when I was building the shed, you're not going to believe this. So all I had done to get the permit was draw this little, almost like on the back of a Wendy's bag or a McDonald's bag. I'm serious. That's how basic it has to be up here in New Hampshire. And in other words, I built this entire shed without any plans because I've built so many things. I don't need any plans. I know exactly what I needed. I know what I was doing. I don't need any plans. But this architect, and I was describing this in my newsletter, and I was sharing photos of the process. And this architect, who was a subscriber, emailed me and said, Tim, that's an incredible shed, man. He said, for everything you've done for me in the past, and evidently I'd helped him a lot. I didn't realize I had helped him. He says, I want to draw for you the plans for that thing. He said, in case you want to sell them to people. And he didn't want anything in return. He felt that I had already paid him. So I have these plans for sale on my website, and hardly anybody ever buys them. I mean, I do a really bad job of letting people know about my products, but that's all going to change on January 2nd. The point is, you can modify. In other words, your takeaway on this plans. So, way into is that you may not want to build the exact shed I built. You don't have to, but using the plans that I have, you can easily modify it. I mean, he's got so many things you'll go, oh, I understand how to do it now. I get it. So my shed was 16 by 24. You might want one that's just 12 by 18. Doesn't matter. You can still build it absolutely using my plans. And mine is a 2-story shed. Mine's got a staircase that goes up to a second floor. And you'll rarely find that in most sheds. So it's basically, I built a tiny house. And I think, Will, we talked about that last week. Hi, William. How you doing? Yeah, exactly. Super chats. I have no idea. I'm going to look into that. I think sometimes when you get some of this stuff going, you actually need an assistant potentially, back behind the scenes. It's helping. I've worked with them before, like a field director doing videos and all that. Yeah, go to that link. Wait till you see those plans. You're not going to believe it. But I'm telling you right now, do not buy them right now. Don't buy them. Don't buy the plans. Don't buy the plans. I know that sounds crazy. Do not buy the plans. Just go sign up for my newsletter. Wait until January 2nd. All right. See, there's a crutch word. So they're so. Isn't that crazy? I'm gonna head out of here. We've been on this. I think this might be the longest live stream yet. 1 hour and 14 minutes and just a few seconds. I want to thank you for watching today. I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be here Wednesday. We should have another good time. And we're not going to do sheds. I'm going to do. I'll tell you when I'll do sheds. We're going to do sheds, like March, because that's when a lot of people. I make a mistake sometimes because I think that, well, people are thinking about projects because the weather's starting to change. Well, guess what? You can build a shed tomorrow in Florida, here in the United States, or in Houston, Texas. It's going to be warm. My friend, I was talking to him today, really, really one of my best friends, Steve, not Steve in the UK, Steve out in Southern California. Steve lives in Southern California. I know it was a little cool there yesterday, but I know last week it was 81 degrees at Steve's house. It's the point I'm trying to make is that I have to sometimes be careful. In other words, people in Southern California may want to build their shed next week. I get it. I get it. Don't change my words. I know, Steve, but I don't want to look like a dope. Yes, closer to shed building season. Correct. But here's the thing. Here's the beauty about the live streams and what YouTube's doing. We could talk about sheds in January. Well, guess what? It's curated. So if the title of the video is how to build a shed, the live stream is how to build a shed, then you just come back to my channel whenever you're ready to do it, type in how to build a shed. Boom. There's the live stream. There's all the information. But I think what I want to do, I think where I'm making a mistake is I probably need to go out a little further into the future and actually schedule the live streams for you, which would give you time to think about that so that you can build your questions. Sometimes I think it's really hard for you to come up with a question while the stream's happening, or after the stream's over is when you think about it. I think it would really help if you knew ahead of time the direction I was going. I may work on that between Christmas and New Year's. That would be a really easy thing, because remember, I've already got to start. I showed you that. This book is filled with future stream. You know, that's what I was writing. These are all future streams. So they're see, I can't stop. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks very much. Will, if you're still here, there's see, bad. If you do not want the great response, the great power that I gave you, let me know. I will change you back. So let me know if you do not want the power and the responsibility. You just have to let me know. You have a great night. I'm going to have one here too. Thanks, Steve. Good night to you, buddy. It's gosh, what is it today? Today's the 13th. So we're just like 9 days away from the solstice. So there's again. See how many times I say that? Yes, wait into it. It was a good stream today. If I could just stop saying those crutch words. I'm out of here. Thanks so much for watching. Yes, pray for everybody in Kentucky. Absolutely. Like I said, I've been through those. I've walked through the streets where a tornado hit the morning after. I've been there. It's so sobering to see the power of what those things can do. It's just almost incomprehensible, and it's horrible. It's just horrible. I'll be here tomorrow. I hope you will be too. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. Spread the good word about the live stream. Always hit the like button if you can, if you like the stream. But it's really important for you on your own social media channels to try to spread the good word about the stream. We want to build a good audience. We can do it together, you and I. And I don't know, maybe make this the best home improvement live stream out there. Wouldn't that be a lofty goal? I think it is. And I think we can do it. I know I've got the knowledge in here. It's just that I need your input. And remember, your chat questions are the fuel. You're the rocket fuel for the stream. Have a great night. I am Tim Carter. This is Ask the Builder. I will be here tomorrow. Thanks again for watching.